Good morning, Hillcrest. Thanks for joining again. Today we're going to talk about the importance of mobility and stability in your training, whether that's for golf-specific fitness, tennis-specific fitness, or general fitness, the importance of mobility and stability. So our body works in a way to where we have an alternating route, should you say, of mobile and stable joints. So we need to know which ones we need to train to be mobile and which ones we need to train to be stable and which ones can be trained as both or should be done for both. So when we start from the ground up, we start with the foot. So the foot itself, we want to train the foot to be stable. So stability in the feet, whether that's grabbing the ground, using the arch of our foot, using the muscles in our feet to stabilize from the ground up. Our ankle is something we want to be mobile with. So our ankle can move around an entire circle. Pronate, supinate, it can dorsiflex, plantar flex. We want to be mobile through our ankles. Knee joint. So I'm going to work my way up from the ground up. Knee joint, stable joint. So although we might want it mobile this way, extension, flexion, what we don't want is it to be mobile laterally, okay, or rotationally. So when that happens, that's when an ACL tear occurs or an MCL. So no good. Knee, stable joint. Hip, mobile joint. So hip can move in all different kinds of ways. Extension, flexion, up. It can rotate open, close, internal, external rotation. Hip is a mobile joint. So that's something, especially in golf, in our golf swing, and we know loading hips both ways, we want that joint to be a mobile joint. If not, especially in the golf swing, if we don't have a mobile hip, if we can't internally rotate, we're not going to ever be able to load our trail leg of a right leg for a right-handed golfer, and the lead leg, left leg for a right-handed golfer. So we need to be able to be mobile through the hip joint. And then it goes into our lumbar spine or low back. That is a stable joint. So yes, it can flex and extend, but we do not want to be rotating primarily through the lumbar spine. That's how we can create injuries in the lumbar spine. And that's how a lot of golfers have low back pain, is too much rotation through the lumbar spine. Our thoracic spine is responsible for flexion and extension. So my back here can flex and then I can extend, okay? But it also, we can rotate through the thoracic spine. So it's a mobile joint, we rotate, okay? Now the cervical spine, I'm sorry, we skipped a step here, the scapula. Stable joint here, stable scapula posture, and we want them in a good spot. Shoulder joint, that is a mobile joint, so we can move it all the way around in full circle. And that's our shoulder joint. Can do a lot of things. Also can get injured a lot, so we need to work. At the same time, it's a mobile joint. We need to work stability for the shoulder as well. And then we go to the cervical joint, so our neck. Now, cervical is different. It can kind of work both ways. So we can flex and extend through the cervical, and then our top half of the cervical spine can actually rotate. So it's almost split into two there. But the bottom half we don't want rotating too much. So elbow is a stable joint here. It can just hinge the one way. It will not rotate around, okay? And our wrist is our last mobile joint. So our body works from stability, mobility, alternating all the way up. We need to know which ones to train and how to train them properly. So when we're in the gym and just going after our weights, we want to say we want to be mobile through our shoulders. We want to be stable through our knees when we're squatting. So it's important to train these things and train them properly and put them into your workouts every day, whether that's during the warm-up or during your strength training. So let's go over a few exercises that we separate all of them. So we're going over mobility, we're going over stability. Let's go over a few exercises that I'd throw into golfers, tennis players, and general fitness workouts. So let's start with a great one that shows stability through the lower half and then mobility through the upper half. So we're going to be stable through the foot, and then we're going to bring the knee up. So now we're being a little bit mobile through the hip to just bring the knee up into flexion. Okay, but then we're going to stabilize here. So now we're stable through the low body, stable through the knees. If my knees weren't, or my foot was not stable, I'd fall off balance. So we can flex, open up, rotate through the T-spine. So up, rotate through the T-spine only. If I were to rotate through my lumbar spine, which we don't want to do, I would do this, and I'd probably fall off balance. My knee would go out of place. My foot, I could feel my arch of my foot collapsing. We don't want that. So we want to know which joints to train mobilely and which joints to train for stabilization. So let's go over our foot strength. So our foot strength, we want to be able to flex and grab the ground. So good exercises for this is we grab, say, a towel. I'm going to put the towel, and I won't do this in the gym, but I'll assign it to somebody, say, take this home. Let's start working on some foot strength. Is you grab that towel under your toes, and all you do with the towel is squeeze that towel in with your toes and essentially flexing. If this were my foot, the bottom of my foot, arch my foot. So you're strengthening that arch, which is great for plantar fasciitis and things like that. Great strong feet is awesome in the gym. So a good thing to train, feet. Grab the towel, pull the towel in with your toes. Okay. So ankle, a good exercise for ankle mobility is going to be ankle cars. So let me grab a mat here for you. We're going to get down on our back and just work pure rotation of the ankle. So we'll just go one leg straight down, and then the other we're going to hold right behind. And then from here, I'm going to try to dorsiflex the foot all the way in as far as I can. So pulling your toes towards the shins, and then turn to the side, plantar flex forward, come around to the other side, and then just work full range of motion. And there's plenty of exercises we can do for the ankle and all these joints and exercises. We can do plenty of them. We're just going to go over a few. So here's ankle mobility. So we talked about foot stability and strength. Now we're going over ankle mobility. So cars, just really nice, slow, controlled rotations through the ankle. Big a circle as you can do. Go ahead and switch sides. Big circles all the way around, switching directions. These are all great exercises. Again, we can throw them in our warm-up, but we can also, say, set aside a day of active recovery, or say we don't want to go and lift our super heavy weights or get our intense cardio in today, but we want to get something done. This is great stuff to do on those in-between days where you might not have that energy to get the full workout in. Work on some of this stuff, mobility and stability. Okay, another one for the ankle here. We're going to set up half kneeling. Everything is squared forward here. We're going to work on dorsiflexion. So extremely important in our squats and lunges and things like that is the ability to have our knee track forward without the heel coming off the ground. Okay? So if we can do that, we can get more mobile into our squats. We can sit down a little bit deeper, protect the knee, protect the hips. Keeping the heel on the ground, you're just going to see how far can I track my knee forward. A great exercise here too is to add a wall in front of you, and you can keep creeping back away from the wall and see how much you're improving. So you would set up facing the wall. You would try to get your knee to tap the wall without that front heel coming off the ground. And we're keeping everything on line, nice and straight. So there's dorsiflexion of the ankle, another exercise for ankle mobility. So knee stability, things we can work on for that are things we're probably doing every day. So things like squats and lunges and split squats. Let's show you a split squat. So something we need to watch when we're doing these is, where is my knee? So we'll see a lot of people come down and their knee will come here. Well, where's all the force going right now? It's going there, the inside of the knee. Constant force being pushed there. We don't want that. We want to use everything again from the ground up, where it starts from the foot again, to help support the rest of the body. So all the way up, even to the low back. We want to watch where this knee is. We don't want it too far outside. We don't want it caving to the inside. We want to be able to sit straight down, pop straight up. Okay, again, watch where your knee is always aligned. It's going to be aligned with the hip and with the ankle, never off center. Okay, so split squat, and then same with the squats, and we've gone over these in previous videos, is knees are staying aligned with the hips and the ankles. And again, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that change in angle of the knees. So again, something to watch for in your squats, lunges, split squats, things of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and get back down onto our mat, and we're going to go over our hip mobility. So let's get on your hands and knees, and we're going to go hip cars, really slow, controlled articular rotations of the hip joint. So hands and knees, arms nice and straight. Hip car is just a big, big circle of the hip, and you're really concentrated on the range of motion that hip is going through. So we're extending it up towards the ceiling. Abduction out here to the side, or external rotation, and then flexing forward, nice and slow going through that. So here, we're putting our hip essentially through a full range of motion. We're not taking it into internal rotation, but we are going to external rotation, extension, and flexion. And we're going nice and slow, and we're just training that femur head to travel nice and smoothly, controlled through the hip socket there. So a great exercise for overall hip mobility. Let's take a look at the internal rotation, since we didn't go over that with the cars. Let's give an exercise for internal rotation. So we're going to be on your back. I'm just going to use both hands here. I'm going to bring both fists together, and then I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to put both fists in between my knees, and I'm going to squeeze those fists with my knees. So I'm going to turn my inner thighs on. My low back's going to be down, and then we're going to internally rotate. So driving the knees into the wrists. You don't want to feel space in between the wrists and the knees. Flare those legs to the outside, and then bring them back in. Okay, flare both out to the outside. Bring them back in. We'll do about a set of 10 here while I talk, but you can even feel, if you put your hand on your hip joint, you can feel that femur head rotating to the inside. You might get a little cramp going, and that's okay. That just means we're in a new range of motion, a range of motion that we're not normally in. So flaring out, keeping the wrists or the fist between the knees. You're squeezing those fists together with the knees. So we're taking the hip through internal rotation. Let's do 2 more. Really pushing for more. Awesome exercise to start training internal rotation of the hip. Extremely important in the golf swing. Okay, so with the lumbar spine, and we're creeping up from the ground up, going through all the joints and how we need to train them. So with the lumbar spine, again, things that are rotating but controlling our lower body and keeping our lower body still, a great way to prevent rotation through the lumbar spine. But a great way to train flexion and extension of the lumbar spine is to do some lumbar isolated cat and camels. So chin's tucked up, you're looking down, and you're just trying to move through the lumbar spine. Extend down and flex up. And again, that lumbar spine, it can flex and extend, but it can't rotate. So let's go back to one of our standing exercises that we were doing, and I'll show you a couple different options to keeping your lumbar spine stable. So we did a hip flex and rotation. Again, if you're staying balanced and if you're not letting this knee track to the outside, you're most likely keeping your lumbar spine still. Okay, so there's a hip flex and rotation. Do a couple on the other leg. Trying to keep the low back still, just rotating through that mid to upper back. And then what we can also do are different lunge and rotation variations. So whether that's a reverse lunge down, tight twist, back up. As you notice, I have really no movement from the belly button down, just from that mid to upper torso. Go about 5 each leg, just getting that feel of keeping lower body stable, being mobile through the upper body. Go ahead and switch sides. Good controlled lunge. This brings us back to a couple of things we've already gone over too. A nice strong foot in the front, grabbing the ground, making sure we stay balanced from the bottom up. A mobile ankle. Depending on the kind of lunge we're doing, we need that knee to maybe track forward just a little bit. So that is dorsiflexion of the ankle. And then we're being stable through the knee. We're not letting it go side to side. Staying stable. Mobile through the hip or flexing this front hip. Extending the back a little bit. Let's go one more. And then being mobile through that T-spine and stable through that lumbar spine. Okay, so let's go over our shoulder joint now. So we'll go over shoulder mobility. We're going to go with just pure shoulder cars. So I'm going to get half kneeling. Again, we can do these standing. We can do them kneeling on two knees, whatever's comfortable for you. Just keep our chest pointed straight forward. So if my right knee's out in front, and get my left arm and just go as slow and as big a circle as you could possibly do, putting that shoulder through a full range of motion. Letting it know, letting your brain know, I can do this through my shoulder. I can move it this far. Let's try to get it going a little bit further. Increasing range of motion each rep. Thinking about what you're doing. And breathing through it. Go ahead and switch sides. Just a couple reps of everything, just to give you an idea of these things that you can train. Say again, either during warm-up or on an off day where you're really not feeling like doing some heavy weight or heavy cardio. Just things that are working on your overall body control, joint health, things in that nature. Let's make this our last shoulder car here. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and skip down to the wrists. The wrists, things we can do are just full cars. So I'm just going one wrist here at a time, but as big as you can. We're flexing and extending the wrist, pronating, supinating, going all the way around. Just full rotation, nice and slow. Okay. Really good control, going as big as you can, pushing that range of motion with each circle. Okay, so let's jump back into our scapular stability. So we've done a little bit of this through our different workouts and exercises. So we're going to go both arms out in front of us. Retract the shoulder blades, pull yourself into posture, and hold that position. Keep them stable there. Pull them out in front and then pull them back down. Stable joint. When we're doing things such as rows or deadlifts, we want to be able to stabilize the shoulder blade or scapula and keep them in this good posture position. And we don't want to come out like this. It can lead to a lot of problems. So that's where we're having stable scapula or retracted back and down. So let's go with the neck here. So with the neck, same thing when we're rotating through the T-spine, you can work on keeping your head completely still. And you'll see this almost resembles a backswing in my golf swing. Head nice and still. So you're working, stabilizing cervical spine. But then also you can get that top part of the cervical spine, be mobile with it, just with some neck cars or cervical cars. So we're just going to go slow, controlled rotations of the neck. So flexing the chin, bringing the chin down. Look over to the side. Extend all the way back. Come back to center. All the way back around. Okay. Nice slow rotation. So again, whenever we say the word cars or the exercises of cars, controlled articular rotation, they're just really nice slow rotations of those mobile joints. Okay, so great things to work on. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. We could put this into our warm-ups, we can put this into our days off or active recovery, but things we should be doing. It'll help with our lifting. We'll get stronger. We'll have better movement, better quality movement. We'll feel better. Great exercises. Again, if you need to, just run it back. Once this posts, run back through the exercises. I'd go through them all, throwing them into those workouts or those off days. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a lot of information. If you have questions, send me an email, give me a text or a call. We'll put it onto the next video. But again, that's the mobility, stability section of our video series. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you next week. We'll have a different time, and we'll keep you posted on that by the end of this week. Thanks for watching.